Everyone, thank you for joining us for our business meeting. It's April 9th, 2024. The time is 2 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. In attendance are Commissioners Brooks, Matari, and Duncan. Please join me in a moment of silence. All right. And Ms. Stevenson, would you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Any changes to the agenda? All right, hearing none. Public comment? Hearing none. I would take a motion for meeting minutes, please.
I move that we approve the meeting minutes, items 1 through 5.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. And consent calendar.
I move that we approve the consent calendars, items 6 through 8.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, and payables.
I move that we approve payables April 1 through 5, 2024 in the amount of $604,851.74 and jury panel payments in the amount of $3,343.98.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right. Our first business item is a bid opening request for qualifications consulting services with our airport. And Mr. Patterson, would you like to lead us in that?
Absolutely. So today you have in front of you the request for qualifications for engineering services for the airport and bid opening for that. We are ready to proceed with the opening on that.
How often do we do this?
Every 5 years.
Okay.
Yep.
And do you need us to open it? We can tell you who it's from.
Yes, essentially, yeah.
Okay.
It's just an opening and who it's from, who it's received by.
Okay.
And what are we looking for in here besides the,
More than anything, just reading who it's from after the opening on there, just receiving it in, and then we'll take them and review them later.
okay, well, it's from Ardora in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Excellent.
And there's a thumb drive in here.
And that was the only bid received by 2 p.m.
Excellent.
today. So
Perfect.
I move that we acknowledge the and receipt the requests for qualifications for the airport.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 11, air traffic control agreement with Tower Tech Inc. and our airport again.
Absolutely. Gaston Patterson with the airport, for the record. In front of you, you have the agreement with Tower Tech and the airport for air traffic control services at Coeur d'Alene Airport. This will be a month-to-month agreement for operational dates between May 1st and the 31st. The reason it's written on a month-to-month basis is the Forest Service is going to be paying for 3 of the 6 months of service at a minimum. So it'll be at least 3. There's a good chance that they'll be covering even more if we do have an extended fire season. So we're planning for the 3 as far as financial purposes. The airport solicited for 3 different quotes in accordance with Idaho State Code for procurement of something of this nature, and we went out to Tower Tech, to Serco, and to Midwest ATC. We did not receive anything through Serco, and Midwest declined to bid on this service. So the only one we received was from Tower Tech. This is the company that has operated here before. They were here last year. They were very well received by the pilot community and all the operators in and out of here, so they are definitely familiar with our airport, which is definitely a plus. As you can see, it breaks it down into a daily, weekly, and monthly rate. The monthly rate is where we're going to be at with them for the $147,000 for 3 controllers in our new facility. The airport is going to be changing 2 of its fees, basically, to make this a fund neutral expense. So we're going to be assessing an ATC fee for non-based turbine aircraft coming in. So basically at a certain weight limit that we set, 8,000 pounds, 10,000 pounds, there'll be an ATC fee, and then a fuel flow fee for turbine aircraft for Jet A. So this should be a fund neutral expense as we move forward. This has been approved by legal, and the airport would recommend that we enter into the month-to-month agreement with Tower Tech for services this year. I can answer any questions.
Questions, Bill? No?
I'm just curious, is the rate consistent with last year's?
Yes, it's actually cheaper than last year's.
Oh, good.
Yep. Yep.
And then tomorrow there's a meeting here so the pilots can meet.
Correct. Yep. So we're going to be holding the airport advisory board meeting down here. Basically, it's an pilot interface meeting to be able to meet the controllers, discuss what has been good in the past, bad in the past, just get the controllers and the operators on the same page before they flip the switch on May 1st.
Okay, fantastic.
Brandy Falcon, for the record, may I ask a question?
Sure.
For FY '24,
Yes.
do we need to use fund balance to pay for this year's amount, and then the fees will cover it like next year and going forward? Or no?
So we will be in part of our C budget fund balance for
Okay,
fiscal year
perfect.
'24, but we will be collecting these fees during '24 as well. So we will be able to offset that.
Perfect, okay. I just want to make sure that we're okay to use fund balance for this year.
Okay. Great. With no further questions, I would take a motion.
I move that we approve the air traffic control agreement with Tower Tech, Inc.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 12, board approval request, Coeur d'Alene Airport Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. Ms. Stevenson?
Kim Stevenson for the record. Commissioners, since the dissolution of RMO, the airport is left without a disadvantaged business enterprise program responsible party. And so in working with our Dura, our engineers, we have come up with the program in front of you, and we ask that you approve appointing myself as the airport DBE representative.
Questions, motion?
Excuse me. I move that we approve the request for the Coeur d'Alene Airport Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. Thank you. Item 13, proclamation declaring week of April 14th through 2024 as National Telecommunicators Week, and our 911. Lieutenant Higgins?
Yes. Good afternoon. This is a request to approve a proclamation for Telecommunications Week for April 14th through the 20th of this year. This is a national week recognized across the nation, and it's important that we recognize our hardworking men and women and professional staff at the center that do an awesome job.
Fantastic. Questions, motion?
No questions. I move that we approve the proclamation declaring week of April 14 through 2024 as National Telecommunicators Week. Telecommunicators Week, excuse me.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, you bet.
We do have telecommuters, so.
Yes,
we'll
correct,
wait
but I
for
don't
that
think they deserve a
proclamation.
week. Item 14, board approval request. This is a request of continuation of higher duty pay for public transportation program manager. Since December, the dissolution of the 2 departments, we've had our program manager step up into essentially the director or main role in that department. So my suggestion would be until we get the new job description in place, that we continue this. And I expect that it would be on the April 30th HR meeting to complete the process of the job descriptions and all that. Questions?
No, I think it's appropriate for what's happening right now, but I would like to at least request that we also have a discussion about what we want to see that department look like in 5 years, maybe 10 years, I don't know, just some idea so that we can understand that, that what that person should be doing if we set these goals out. And then that description should kind of match with what we're trying to accomplish. Because we've never really had that kind of discussion, at least I don't recall anything that talks about what is it going to look like when it's done, and this is FTA, primarily. And even like maps of routes and where are those routes going to be? Are there plans to expand, contract, things like that?
So our meeting on Tuesday from 9 to 12 should answer all of those questions. And then after that, we can continue a discussion even at the next HR meeting, which would be the 18th, I think. We can continue that discussion and then make the final recommendation on the 30th.
Yes. So, okay. All right, because it's a workshop. I wasn't quite sure that that's what it was going to be. So, okay.
It should be all things transit, so we should have all the questions answered.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Motion?
I move that we approve the request to continue the higher duty pay for public transportation program manager and the BOCC.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 15, law enforcement agreement. This is a modification with the Bureau of Land Management and our Sheriff's Patrol Division. Captain Smart, please.
Kevin Smart for the record. Commissioners, this is related to our agreement with the Bureau of Land Management and their reimbursement of funds for us when we do security checks on lands that are related to them. Originally, we were awarded $8,000 for this, and then they've turned around and found some additional funding. And so they're looking to award us up to $16,000 in reimbursement. And as we were looking into it to bring this forward, we actually, we inadvertently didn't bring this to you in September when they awarded us the initial $8,000. So this is kind of two parts. There was an $8,000 in September that they awarded us. They're now awarding us an additional $8,000 for the rest of the year as well. And so we're just looking for approval to receive those as we move forward to do those checks.
Okay. And is this any type of law enforcement response, or this is only proactive checking?
If we respond to there for a specific call for service as well, and then, or just random checks as we happen to be driving by the area, whether it be a boat launch, or any other BLM lands that it touches.
Okay, so it's both proactive
Yes.
and reactive.
Yep.
Great, thank you so much. Questions, motion?
You want me to do this, Bill?
Yes, please.
Okay. I move that we approve the law enforcement agreement modification with the Bureau of Land Management and the Sheriff's Office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye, thank you. Resolution 2024-41, this is a request to send surplus vehicles to auction with our Sheriff County Auto Shop Department. Mr. Trueblood, are you on the phone?
Yes, Russ Trueblood for the record. I'm submitting a resolution to send 8 vehicles to auction due to safety concerns, mechanical issues, and high mileage. And they are listed below. Do you want me to list them separately, or is that list you have good?
I think the list is just fine. So does anybody want to hear that list?
No, I'm fine with it.
Okay, good. Okay, motion?
I move that we approve the resolution 2024-41, request to send surplus vehicles to auction with the Sheriff's County Auto Shop.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, thank you. Item
Thank you.
17, board approval request. This is invoice payment for policy 930, absentee ballot envelopes and secrecy sleeves with K and H integrated print solutions and our elections. Mr. Gray, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I am before you today seeking approval to pay the invoice to K&H for the absentee ballots and secrecy sleeves that we have ordered printed from them. We order these in advance for future elections, so you can see the quantity this time was 34,000 for both the outer and return envelopes, and then 31,000 for the secrecy sleeves because we experience less spoilage on those because they're not printed on. And so with that, this is a budgeted expense, but it is over 10,000, so I'm asking for your approval.
Okay, questions, motion.
I move that we approve the request for May 21, 2024 primary election ballot order, IC 34-902 for elections.
Sorry, we're on 17, Bill.
I'm
You
sorry.
got ahead of us.
I saw Asa there, and
Yeah.
I move that we approve the request, the invoice for payment per policy 930, the absentee ballot envelopes and security sleeves with K&H integrated print solutions.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 18, board approval request for the May 21st, 2024 primary election ballot order according to Idaho Code 34-902 and our elections. Mr. Gray.
Good afternoon again, Commissioners. Before you is the ballot order for the May 21st, 2024 primary election. You will see that because it is a primary election, we do have all 4 partisan ballots, Constitution, Democratic, Libertarian, and Republican, along with a nonpartisan ballot that includes only the judicial officers and any ballot questions that exist in the county. We do have 2 ballot questions on the ballot for this election. Hauser Lake Fire Protection District is running a base budget increase question. And then Plummer Worley Joint School District number 44 is running a supplemental levy question, and we do share that district with Benoit County. Outside of that, we have multiple different offices on the ballot for the primary, everything from our representative in Congress on down to precinct committee races. So it will be a full ballot and a robust election, I expect. We do produce our ballot order with calculations based on registered voter counts and past election turnout. And what's unique for a primary is that because unaffiliated voters can choose to affiliate with a party up to and including election day to pick that party's ballot, we do include the count of unaffiliated voters within a couple of our party ballot orders, primarily the Democratic and Republican party ballot orders, to make sure that we provide adequate ballots to each location for those voters as well. So with that, I will stand for any questions and ask for your approval of the ballot order.
Okay, questions? Motion?
No questions. I move that we approve the request for the May 21, 2024 primary election ballot order, IC 34-902 with elections.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 19, resolution 2024-42, designate polling places, May 21st, 2024, primary election, Idaho Code 34-302, and our elections. Mr. Gray.
Thank you, Commissioners. Before you are the proposed list of polling places for the May primary election. I would like to point out the changes that have occurred from 2023 because we do actually have several, and there are varying different reasons for these, which I will go into. Our first change is Precinct 208, which was previously at the Metamont Grange, is now moving to Crossroads Community Church in Rose Lake. It's officially a Cataldo address. We have used this church location in the past prior to 2020 was the last time we used them. And the Grange is no longer an available location, but we did get a lot of feedback from the community out there because it is a large geographical precinct. We got a lot of feedback from some people in Cataldo that Metamont was a far drive for them and it's not a direction they normally go. So at least Rose Lake is kind of that middle ground as much as we can achieve it within the precinct, and it's a location that the community's familiar with because we've used it before. The next location that has changed is precinct 307. We've been at St. Stanislaus Parish Hall the last couple of years. We did receive a concern from a citizen in the November election about the ADA compliance of the polling place. They do have an ADA ramp, and the openings are, the door openings are good sized. However, upon further review this spring, the ramp is too steep of a slope for our requirements for ADA, and so we are moving that location just down the street to Calvary Rathdrum. Precinct 308 is moving back to a previous location. It's known as Jasper Falls Recreation Center. It used to be Golden Spikes. They've changed their name, but we were at that location prior to November of last year when they had some construction, and we had to temporarily move it to John Brown. So we are now returning back to that previous location, which is good because a lot of that precinct does live in that community as well, so it's very convenient for them. The next location that we have changing on here is precincts 403 and 405, which previously, the last couple of years, have been at Candlelight Christian Fellowship. We are going back to Lake City High School. The high school has opened up their auxiliary gym for us to utilize again as we have in the past, and it's a great location and has good parking, and so we're seeking to move back there. And then precinct 407, you will be familiar with because we had the discussion on the status update recently about utilizing this space that we are currently in as a polling location for that precinct. This is due to the fire station across from the Kroc Center moving to the fairgrounds and no longer being able to be used as a polling location for us. And then finally, precincts 502 and 505, which were at the Post Falls Library. We're moving for this year. You may remember from a couple years ago the discussion, or at least those of you who were in office 2 years ago would remember that we are supposed to try to keep primary and general polling locations the same as much as we possibly can. And so because of the flooding at the Post Falls Library with the water breaks and everything this winter, we are moving those two locations. They're actually going two different places, but two existing polling locations. Precinct 502 will join Precinct 506 at the Post Falls Middle School, and Precinct 505 will join Precincts 513 and 518 at the Post Falls Seventh-day Adventist Church, which will be our one and only triple location. So with that, if there are any questions, I would be happy to answer those.
All right, questions, motion.
No questions.
Move that we approve Resolution 2024-42, designating polling places for the May 21st, 2024 primary election in accordance with IC 34-302.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, thank you. Item 20, Resolution 2024-43, and this is resolution on grant funds. And Commissioner Matari.
Yes, and we discussed this earlier at our status update meeting, and so this is the actual resolution, and it basically is an emphasis and a requirement where we expend the grant monies in priority before county tax dollars, and obviously within the compliance of the grants, but also with the understanding that we want to exhaust the options available to use that money first before we're actually using levied tax money.
Sounds good. Motion?
I move that we approve Resolution 2024-43, the resolution for grant funds and the BOCC.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, public comment. Okay, hearing, oh, yes, sir. And just push the button on the microphone so it turns green.
Should be on your left
Yeah.
side.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Greg Thaxton. I'm a Kootenai County resident. I actually wrote a very long speech. I'm going to be very, very brief. I'm here to talk about County Ordinance 5-1-110A3, which is a barking dog ordinance. I've spoken with Commissioner Brooks on the phone. He's very helpful. Basically, I feel like I'm being targeted, and I feel like this ordinance has been weaponized against me. I've been targeted by one specific neighbor in my neighborhood. No other neighbors are complaining. They all have written character reference reports to me that I have here. And I'm fielding phone calls from the county animal control. We're getting visited by animal control frequently. I've been cited twice. And I just want this to stop. I have a Ring camera on my dogs 24/7 that I'll be happy to share with you, unaltered, unedited. They don't bark. They bark at people that stop by my house, but they don't do what the ordinance calls regular or frequent barking. And I feel like she's weaponized this. I feel like I'm being harassed. And I don't know what else to do. So I guess I'm coming to you to find out what can I do? I've talked to a lawyer. The lawyer says that I do indeed have a case of harassment and stalking because she's over at my property quite a bit, videotaping my dogs. This is just, it's absurd. She lives diagonal to me, 384 feet away by Google. My neighbor's directly to the right of me and directly across from me, no complaints. My neighbor's this way, no complaints. My neighbor's this way, no complaints. It's one neighbor, and it's just constant and continual, and I'm tired of it. I'm a public servant. I'm dealing with my own issues that I got from my job, and this is not helping me. So I'm wondering what I can do as the public to stop this harassment and the weaponization of this ordinance. So, thank you for your time.
Okay, any other public comment? Okay, 2:26, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
You were closer to right than I was.